everybody. This is Miska from NASCAP. Thank you for joining today's webinar. It's the last webinar in this series on the state plan. Just a couple of housekeeping items. Everybody is muted for the duration of this webinar. If you do have questions, please type them in the chat bar located to your right, and we will address all questions at the end. Now I'm going to hand it over to Seth Hassett from OCS. I'm not hearing anything, just making sure that OCS's audio is available.
The phone was accidentally muted, so we've corrected that. So can you hear me now?
Yeah, exactly.
So again, apologies on that. This is Seth Hassett, Director of the Division of Community Assistance at OCS. And this is our final of our scheduled webinars. We appreciate our involvement, and we also wanted to just say we thank you for your patience in this process as we've moved forward. What you folks don't necessarily see is the sort of the monumental effort that behind the scenes that our staff here, particularly Monique Alcantara and Nikki Frazier and Renita and others here have been doing to get us to this place, and working and testing and preparing this system. And we hope that it's going to serve us well moving forward, lots of technical improvements. I want to say I'm here also with Maxine Maloney, who is now in the role as the Program Operations Branch Chief. Some of you may have seen a Dear Colleague message that went out recently on that topic. Commander Bill Boldick, who was in that role, continues to be with OCS. He's serving as the Program Operations Branch Chief for the Social Services Block Grant. But I wanted to ask if Maxine wanted to just say a word of welcome as well.
Thanks, Beth. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to join the CSBG team and look forward to working closely with all you all on your state plans. The team is excited to begin this new journey with the new upgrades. If you have any questions, please feel free to always email us at csbgstate@acf.hhs.gov. Also, feel free to send me an email at maxine.maloney, M-A-L-O-N-E-Y, @acf.hhs.gov. I look forward to working with you all.
And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start the content on this, and I'm going to be handing over to Ronika Carr, who's going to begin the presentation.
Thank you, Seth. Before we move along, I just wanted to remind folks that OCS issued additional guidance to the state with an action transmittal on July 27th, which provides details about this year's submission process. This is a detailed document about the CSBG state plan submission process, and it also includes some background or historical information. I recommend that you take a look at this document, especially those of you who are new to CSBG, to further your understanding. This document was provided via email from CSBG State, and it's also available on the ACF website. Next, please. A brief overview of the CSBG State Plan clearance. I will also share some important dates and resources to assist you all in this year's submission of the CSBG Plan. So today's focus for the webinar is to look at just provide a refresher on the online data collection system. We will also conduct a live demo about completing the CSBG State Plan, as well as talk about submitting the plan. And please be reminded that all CSBG state plans are due on September 1st, and technical assistance from OCS is available through Friday, August 31st. So if you have any questions, just reach out to us. If you have any issues per se, just reach out to us. Thank you. Again, we received clearance, and this is just a brief overview of the CSBG state plan. Received clearance on July 2nd, and I just want to reiterate again that this was truly a CSBG network-wide effort. CS thank you for your comments as well as your feedback that you all provided in order for us to update the CSBG plan and make this plan submission process a more efficient as well as an effective process. There is an automated plan which incorporates 3 performance management efforts, which are the org standards, ROMA, as well as the accountability measures for states, as well as OCS, can be accessed through the ACS online data collection system. Updated plan increases efficiency for the plan submissions process, but it also provides greater capacity for analysis. So we look forward to seeing what you all provide. Next. In previous years, in regarding the CSBG state plan submission group, we do have 2 session groups for fiscal year 2019. Group 8s are required to submit the CSBG eligible entity master list, as well as new a 1 or 2 year plan for fiscal year 2019. These states are required to submit the CSBG eligible entity master list and an SF424M for fiscal year 2019. Please be reminded that in order for you to submit your state plan, you must complete the master eligible entity list prior to actually entering your data state plan. So definitely complete that. Next slide, please. That is the last of our fiscal year 2018-2019 state plan webinar series. On the screen, you can see a list of the webinars we've conducted over the past several months. All of the webinars have been recorded and can be found on NASCAS's website. Again, thanks to each and every one of you for participating in these webinars. NASCAS will send a SurveyMonkey next week, the webinar series, so that we can plan and prepare for next year. We look forward to receiving your feedback, and again, thank you. Now, Nikki Frazier will provide a refresher on OLDC.
Next is a role-based system, meaning users may only perform actions if they have the necessary permissions. The person will be the person responsible for entering grant report data into OLDC. The entry person is able to create and edit grant reports by default. Additional roles may be given, including submit and unsubmit. Authorized official. This person is directly involved in reviewing and certifying the report form. An authorized official has view only and certify roles by default. And roles such as submit and unsubmit may be assigned. Grant administrator. This person may perform all the actions of the data entry person and the authorized official, including submitting and unsubmitting the form. Rules from last year remain the same. There is no need to submit a new form. Next slide. That individuals performing duties in OLDC must have their own account. The state may have more than one grant administrator. If more than one person is authorized to submit and submit the state's plan, assign them as grant administrator. If the state chooses one or more people to view, enter data, and edit the plan, but does not want them to have the capability to submit and unsubmit, they be assigned the data entry role. Each person must have CSBG assigned to their account. If you staff that worked under the LIHEAP grant but will now work under CSBG, a form must be submitted to add CSBG to the account. If you have not done so already, verify that you and your staff have accounts and are assigned the right roles. For accounts and updates to existing accounts, send completed forms to me no later than August 17th. Leave a written response from notifications@grantsolutions.gov within 48 hours of submitting an OLDC access form with information on the status of their request. New users will also receive system-generated emails containing their username and password. If you receive your username and password in your inbox, spam or junk folder. You can contact this office if you're having additional issues, or contact app support at help@grantsolutions.gov if you do not see the email in either of your folders. Please also note that passwords must be reset every 420 days. Next slide. With access here for a moment as we set up our system. We're going to do a live demo. Just a moment. Okay, thank you. Others will access OLDC via the Grant Solutions website, which appears on your screen now. The address is https://www.grantsolutions.gov. You either use Chrome, Firefox, or Internet Explorer as an internet browser. However, we do recommend Chrome or Firefox for better usability. The view, which we will show in upcoming slides, does not work for older versions of Internet Explorer. I recommend that you save the web address as a favorite. From Solutions homepage, click Login, located at the upper right-hand corner. Okay. Once you're logged in, once you enter the Grant Solutions URL, you will be directed to the screen to enter your username and password. To enter your assigned username and password, you will click Login. If you need a password reset, you can send that request to me or Monique via email, or the Grant Solutions help desk if you have additional issues. From the portal screen, please select OLDC from the menu bar. You're directed to the OLDC homepage. By default, the regular version will be displayed. We are navigating in the system under the Enhanced version. You can switch to Homepage Enhanced by clicking the associated button at the top right of the screen and hitting OK. Switch between the regular and versions by toggling selecting yes, and selecting yes. So on regular, switch homepage regular and hit OK, you will be directed back to the regular screen. So then you can navigate back and forth from both screens. Please note that is only visible under the Enhanced version. Enhanced screen, the first tab on the dashboard is My Recent Activity. It displays all recent reports just by the user. Possible actions include view in read-only mode, to access the report screen in edit mode, and report status to navigate to the report form status page. Tab Activity Report allows you to search for reports in progress, submitted, or have been approved over the past 2 years. You can access earlier reports in the report form entry option. The Activity Report allows you to view a report, access the report screen in edit mode, and navigate to the report form status page. Report View, you can access reports that are currently available for submission. When submitted, it is removed from this tab, but remains accessible from the My Recent Activity and Activity Report tabs, and from the Report Form Entry menu. From the screen, you can view a report, start a newer report, an existing report, or navigate to the Report Form Status page. We will demo the new CSBG state plans. At our webinar, we did go over the submission process for the master list, so we will do a live demo of the master list today. We do thank everyone who has already submitted and for those who are in the process of submitting. As a reminder, everyone must submit the master list this year. And yesterday we mentioned that there were a few glitches. Those glitches should be fixed and finalized on Friday, August 15th. We had to delay to avoid any risk of deleting master lists that were already submitted or in progress. In previous years, you selected the model plan. This year, you must select state plan. So, the Community Services Block Grant, if you have more grants, they will show up here. Step B to select your state should appear automatically. And 3, we said you will select state plan. And it's also in this drop-down. You will not select model plan for submission of the new state plan. You will select the reporting period. You will be selecting the period 10/1/18 to 9/30/19. Step would be to select new edit revised report. And here. What on your screen is an error message. Use this error message because the person that went and attempted to start their state plan failed to initialize and submit their master list. Those that are trying to submit, start, and complete their state plan, you will receive that error message if the master list is not completed and submitted. That has submitted the list under our test page.
Just aware, this is a testing site, so any of the changes we make today are happening in the actual live production site.
Thanks, Monique. We are not completing anyone's state plan for them. Darn. The report sections contain 16 sections, including the cover page. Each section is entered separately, and sections may be saved individually. Section actions. We section data. This will delete all data previously saved for a section. You will click the drop-down arrow next to a section, select section data, and click Go. This option is rarely used. Next, edit section. To enter in data for a section, click the drop-down arrow next to a section, select edit section, and click Go. To print, you click the drop-down arrow next to the section, select print section, and click Go. Go into the cover page. The cover page, also known as the SF424M. While updated Section 1 so that the SF424M details are more clear, it is still important to complete these questions based on whether you are submitting a 1- or 2-year plan. Note the answers here will no longer create validations throughout the plan. We are looking to update these next year to simplify the process for you. So on the page, we have this 1A. You will select plan if you're submitting a 1-year plan for fiscal year 19. If submitting a 2-year plan for fiscal year 2019 and 2020, you select plan under submission, tier, enter under frequency, and will be initial. Different ways to enter data into the state plan. The data entry types are text boxes, the entry of free text. The limitations vary for each text box. Text copied and pasted from Microsoft Word. We have radio buttons, circular buttons. It signifies that you can only select one option. Then we have boxes. Checkboxes are square and signifies that you can select all apply. We add rows and select drop downs and forms. Then enter data, select items from a pre-populated drop-down list, and add additional rows when necessary. Entry action buttons. Report section screen buttons. For viewing add an attachment, you add attachments button. It allows you to view attachments to files using this button. All available attachments are attached to specific cells within the section. Use this button to view attachments. Validate the plan for errors or missing data. If there are no issues, the plan is validated and to be certified by the authorized official. Then print full report. This is all the sections as one complete report. Report attachments. There are questions within the state plan where you are asked or have option to attach documents. Use these designated areas to attach documents. Designation letter, for example, should be attached using the icon located in Section 1, Question 1.3, or using the icon at the bottom of the SF424M. It is not associated with a plan section. Attach the same document more than once. only attach files at the cell level. View all attachments from the report form status page or by using the View Add Attachment button. You attach the document when you see a paperclip icon within a cell to attach one or more files. To attachments, please use the question number and a header or descriptive words associated with the section. Example, 1.3, designation letter. No special characters are allowed in naming the document except for a period. Attachments should be in PDF format and not password protected. One-click paperclip icon, cell level attachment screen pops up. Click Browse. Explorer window, select the correct file, and click Open. Pop up, it does give you the message that your file was successfully uploaded. You will click OK. From those selections, you can out this button by hitting the Close button. I had more stuff to say. The attachment screen refreshes and the document is attached. Where you see the cell level attachment, that's the one that just attached. You see where the cell location is. This is the cell to which the document was attached. The name of the document. The link to open the attachment from the icon. The date shows the date of the upload. The upload status should save, and uploaded by will show who person that submitted upload. The portion allows you to delete attachments. You will repeat the previous steps to add additional attachments. Close when finished.
Just one more clarification. The success message does pop up telling you that it's scanning for viruses, and once the scan is complete, pending will change to save.
Allowable attachment. It limit the amount of attachments that are allowed in the state plan. We have uploaded the character limit in certain sections. 10.2 and Section 15 attachments are accepted but not required. However, attachments are still required for the designation letter 1.3, public hearing documentation 4.4, if the state has adopted alternative organizational standards 6.1b. As in prior webinars, we do have skip logic in the state plan. We do skip logic for fiscal year 2017. Depending on the answer to some questions, an additional question may appear. If you select other item 3.3, a narrative field will appear. Hidden questions do not change the number order. More examples while she speaks about some of the major revisions and how to complete those sections. I'll hand over to Monique.
Hi, my name is Monique Alcantara with the Office of Community Services. I'm going to take some time and go through some of the major revisions that happened in the state plan and how to fill out those questions and how it will affect other questions with the state plan. Before going forward is that this year you will not be able to clone your state plan, but we have made it so that your responses from your last admission do pre-populate, as you'll see as we're going through the presentation. Not all of the responses pre-populate, but some do. If you go to the action transmittal that Renika mentioned on our ACF website, there is an attachment which shows you which responses do pre-populate versus which responses will not pre-populate. That do not pre-populate are usually in part because the question is new or because the question changed enough that we felt that it would be better for you to start anew with the response. So we are at section 1. We're going to focus in on 1.1 and 1.1a. This question, now in section 1, you will identify whether you're doing a 1 or a 2-year plan. You'll enter 1.1a, there's the option for year 1 and year 2. If I select year 1, the option for year 2 changes. This is one of the major revisions that we made to the state plan. So for those of you who are only submitting a 1-year plan, you will see no options to submit 2-year data. In 1A, you'll select 2019 because you are submitting one plan for federal fiscal year 2019. And if it's a 2-year, then under year 2, you would be submitting 2020 as well. And 1 year for the purposes of this demo. Next, we will speak towards 1.2 through 1.5. 2 through 1.4 and 1.5 all have changed, and now that they ask if your information has changed in regards to these 3 things. For 5 this year, you must select yes because there is no information. Oh, not that part, but down here. You must select yes because there is no previous information as 1.5. In your question, you can enter the date. You can just enter October 1st, whatever date that you want, and you'll have to check all these options. Checking the options, each filled with here and your entry. As for 0.2 and 1.4, that information does pre-populate with the exception of 1.2D, 1.2B, and 1.4B, and that's because these questions have changed. So we do suggest that you review all the information to make sure that it did copy over properly. But you definitely have to update 1.2B, 1.2D, 1.4B. So you'll just enter in the information here of your authorized official name and their title. Go to section 5, which is your next major revision in the state plan. So a little tip for you guys that if you want to skip through sections, you can just go here, or you can click next section. But since I'm skipping 4 sections, I'm going to skip ahead to section 5. And since I'm not going to go through each section, we just do want to point out some major revisions. So section 5, with the addition of the CSPG master list, which you must submit first, we cannot stress that enough. The master list will pre-populate into 5.1. 5.1 is now read-only. You can only update your information about your eligible entities in your CSPG master list. And the time you submit the master list, you would have to start a new plan. So we recommend that you verify the master list before submitting and before starting your state plan. As mentioned earlier, this is all tests, so everything in here is dummy information just for the purposes of this demo. Auto calculates once we click validate, which we're not going to click validate today, but it will go 3 here once validate. 5.8 is an update to last year's state plan, and now that we're asking for more information, there are no changes to your eligible entity list. You click, I keep clicking the right button. You click the eligible entity list, and then you can skip forward to the next section. How it changes, this is the skip logic that Nikki was referring to, once you click your checkbox, more will show. Working on technology to try to get a drop-down list from your master list so that you would not have to key in the eligible entity names to reduce human error. Unfortunately, that technology is not yet available. We are still working on it, and if it becomes available, we will let you guys know, and it'll be available for future updates. But for now, please, when you're entering the eligible entity name, please enter the exact official name as you entered it into the master list. I'm going to go to section 6 by clicking that section. And just as a reminder, Nikki will speak a little bit more about this, but every time you navigate to the next section, you'll get a message asking if you made changes, and if you actually click save changes. Going through the plan, we recommend hitting save often. You can also hit validate, which also saves, but we recommend as you're first entering all your information that you only hit save and then you validate at the end, which we'll speak towards as we close out this demo today. Section primarily pre-populates from your previous response, but we did make an update to 6.4, and you can see how the information pre-populated here from California's response last year. And the question 6.4 asks if there's any exceptions to eligible entities having to meet the organizational standards. No, that's an error, so we'll have to stop. But click yes, the screen will pop up, and you can type in the entity names and why they are exempted. If they are exempted for the exact same reason, you can just copy the response each time. You do not have to create a new reason for each exemption. We will go to section 7. So another thing that we changed with the validations are, well, with 7.2, 7.6, and 7.9, these three questions combined essentially tell us how you plan to allocate 1% of your CSBG funds. With 7.2 speaking towards the, I'll click validate really quick because it is going to help with the depth. Step 2 speaks towards the not less than 90% that is allocated to our eligible entities. 7.6 requests what you will allocate to administrative funds, and 7.9 asks about remainder discretionary funds. When you do the percentages here, it should equal 100% for 7.2, 7.6, and 7.9. There's validation that comes up if it does not equal 100%. So if you do see that validation come up after you validate at the end, that's what we're referring to. So the percentage for 7.2, 7.6, which is your admin funds, and 7.9, which is your remainder discretionary funds. Yes, that will come up. Now we'll head over to section 9. The majority section 9 does pre-populate. 9.1 does not pre-populate because the response option has changed. It used checkboxes, and now it's a radio button, so you can only select one. But it used to be radio buttons, and now it's checkboxes. If you select other, a narrative will be required. This happens throughout the plan. Different checkboxes. If you select one, it'll ask you for additional information, and you just complete the narrative. The change for section 9 is 9 communication plan. So in previous years, we just had it be a free-form table that you could just enter whatever information that you felt was necessary for OCS to know that you communicate to your state. And this year, what we did was we changed the subject matter so that they're related exactly to the CSBG state plan. When you select an expected frequency, the items will open up for you to respond. However, if you select anything other than other under format, you're no longer able to provide a brief description. If not applicable, so you have to have a communication plan on every subject matter, then
then fields will remain closed. If information on a different subject matter or topic, you are add rows. You can do test, get frequency, and then the format, and a brief description of other unless you select under, and then you can add rows as needed. To actually delete a row, you can click marked rows, and it will permanently delete the row that you marked for deletion. Go to section 10. Major revision, and that we want to speak a little bit about the monitoring table. As mentioned before, we were working on having a drop-down list for the eligible entities, but we're not able to do that this year. For section 10, the entire eligible entity list will transfer over to 10.1. So in my example, I have 3 eligible entities in the state of California, and most of the table is grayed out, but then you can select the monitoring type. Not reviewing an eligible entity within your state for fiscal year 2019, or if you're a 2-year state, fiscal 2019 and 2020, you will select no review, and the rest of the fields will remain grayed out. If you're reviewing an eligible entity, for example, eligible entity 2, you'll select what type of review you're doing, so we'll select full on-site. You'll review type, on-site or desk review. Select the target quarter, and also enter the start date and end date of the last full on-site review. A full on-site review is defined in the CSBG Act. Need more information on that. Now, brief description of other, unless you select other under type, you do need to provide any information under brief description of other. Select review, and then fiscal year quarter, and then for every eligible entity that you are reviewing for your federal fiscal year 2019 and or 2020, you have to provide the start date and end date of the last full on-site review. And then if you selected other, then you will give a description, a brief explanation of what other means. I mean it so that you do not have to selecting no review. We felt that this would make the process simpler for you guys. And really, again, remember that you're providing your plan federal fiscal year 2019 and 2020 if you are doing a 2-year plan. So we really need the information pertaining to those 2 years. If something changes with the monitoring plan, you will be able to update it in your annual report module 1, which is your actuals of your state plan. And the last section we'll look at is section 12. 12 primarily pre-populates, but we do under 12.1 a bit. It is now radio buttons. It used to be checkboxes. Again, radio button signifies that you can only select one option. So here the options are 125% of the HHS poverty line, an X number percent of the HHS poverty line, and then you'll have to fill in the threshold. And the fill here, this should be a percentage. Or you can do it varies by eligible entity. It varies by eligible entity. We want a description of what that means and why it varies. And hand it back to Nikki.
Thank you. We're going to do the last of the demo on the report section screen. We will demo certifying and submitting in this. However, this process has not changed. All the sections are validated. The certify button will appear, should be next to validate once all the sections are validated. The spot button will appear on the report sections page. The official will be able to go to the report page and see the certify button. Certified, the grant administrator will be able to submit from this page, the report section screen, or from the report status page. Any questions on submissions or certifying, you can contact Monique and I. However, once you complete the sections and they're all validated, it's pretty straightforward. Do a review of the plan submission process steps. Earlier, it is very important that you save often. The screen will time out if you're not entering data and saving data regularly. If you're working on a section and section of are entering text in that section and it takes you a while, just entering that into that page will not retain your information. You must save in order to make sure that none of your data that you're entering on that page is lost. I encourage you to save and save often. Activity limit is 30 minutes, and you will receive a notification that you're about to be timed out. And click on the screen. Help links on the screen. Help links are not considered actions. The actions are included. The actions included are saving, printing, validating, certifying, submitting, and navigating screens. That counts as activity. Validate after each section. As we said before, our recommendation is for you to wait until you have fully completed the plan and go through all the errors. All the errors are able to certify the plan. The plan is saved and validated, and there are some errors on the same save form if you see validated with warnings. Warnings are allowable in the CSBG state plan. However, you should address them if necessary. Errors that an error message appears at the top of the section. As that plans with errors cannot be certified and will have the status of save with errors. This must be corrected. The entire plan is successfully saved and validated, meaning no errors. The authorized official will certify the report form with a digital signature. The section screen will certify button, and she will click the certify button. The changes made after saving and validating this form will be lost. Have the ability to sign in the signature area by clicking the click to sign button. Will complete your certify process and officially sign this form appears. You will OK, and then the button appears, and you will be able to successfully submit your CSBG state plan to ACF OS. I will now hand it over to Ronika.
Thank you, Nikki. Next slide, please. Thank you, Monique, for that thorough tutorial on completing and submitting the CSBG state plan. States completing the plan. Here is a list of CSBG staff contacts that will be able to assist you. For questions, and those questions are usually related to content, please contact your CSBG program specialist. And for Region 4, 7 is Crystal Cruz. Region 3, 6, and 9 is Isaac Davis. For Regions 2, 8, and 10, that's Jamia Furbush, and Jonna Holden for Region 1 and Region 4A. Just please know that Jamia Furbush is currently on maternity leave. In her absence, these are the program specialists that you may contact, and for Region 2, that is Crystal Cruz. For Region 8 will be Jonna Holden, and for Region 10 is Isaac Davis. For questions, those are questions that's usually related to OLDC access, or questions that you may have in terms of having issues navigating or receiving error messages or things like that. You may contact Monique Alcantara or Nikki Frazier. And also, please, as a reminder, copy CSBG States email, and that is csbgstates@acf@hhs.gov to ensure a prompt response. More eyes, the better. So thank you all again for joining us today, and I will now pass it back to Nasca to share with us any questions that you may have.
So we have received a question asking for clarification on what you're supposed to select if you're in the middle of the 2-year plan.
So I am actually going to come out of the slideshow and give a quick demo of that. If you are selecting a 2-year plan, you actually go through a different way. You do report form entry, but you will select a model state plan because you have a submit 2-year plan and actually be editing the state plan that you submitted last year. I'll show you that very quickly. X out of that screen, I apologize. So just as that up was geared towards those who have to submit new plans this year, new 1- or 2-year plans. For the states who are on here who are submitting a 2nd-year plan, we will do this quick now. But if you are submitting a revision to your already submitted CSBG state plan, it should only be major revisions, not small little updates. The middle plan will still be the version from fiscal year, or our previous version of the state plan, so you won't be able to update based on the new changes that we've made. And so I would reach out to your program specialist if you are thinking of making a revision to see if it's really necessary to make it this year or until the annual report, or if it's just submitting your next new submission. And getting to demo, sorry that this is taking so long. But you go to, when it comes up, the report form entry. I'm sorry. You see? Okay, support form entry for those who have to submit revisions to their already accepted 2-year state plans. Community service block we're at, you'll select your state, and you'll only see your own state, and you'll click model plan, not state plan. And once you select model plan, this will come up. You actually picked one that isn't a state plan. You'll select the previous fiscal year, and then click new edit revised report. I'm not going to actually go into the report, but once you click enter, you'll be taken to the original version of the CSBG state plan. So if that is your question, and feel free to ask follow-up if you need to. But we can move on to the next one.
Okay, there's a question specifically on section 10.1 asking if the target quarter is set against the federal fiscal year or the calendar year.
The CDBG state plan should be completely reported on the federal fiscal year. Even if you as a state are reporting work on a fiscal year or a calendar fiscal year, your entire state plan and your annual report module 1 should be reported on based on the federal fiscal year. So point 1, it should be quarter would be October 1st through the 31st.
There's another question asking if the updates to the master list have been completed.
The question, we learned that if we made the updates last night, that those states who have already started entering would have, their list would have been deleted. So everything will be updated on Friday and ready for you guys to go. This is just, again, to eliminate the risk of to read the master list. Instead, you'll just have to update. Now, if you are a state that has no leading zeros for your DUNS number, please feel free to submit your master list and you're ready to go to the next step. But if you do have DUNS numbers that have a leading 0, which means it starts with a 0, then we request that you wait until Friday, which we'll send a dear colleague letting everyone know it's ready to go.
Good, and there's just a couple last questions asking for confirmation that the state plan will be ready for states to go and input their data today.
Well, and as soon as it's open and ready for you guys, we will send out a dear colleague. The dear colleague is ready to go. We're just waiting for the final go, our technical partners, but it will be open today.
Good. And we actually just received one other question asking about the geographical area data field. Apparently, there was supposed to be more space added for characters.
That edit will go through on Friday as well. I apologize for that because we thought that there were more characters, and then we learned that they did minimize the characters. So that's data to assist you guys. It is live and ready to go, so you guys should be here getting a dear colleague pretty soon about that.
And it looks like that's it for questions. So if there are no other questions, I think this would be the end of the webinar. Thank you to everybody for joining us today and for all the webinars in this series. We will be sending out a constant contact with the slides and recording for the webinars from today and yesterday. And we will also be including a link to a survey in that constant contact for you to provide feedback on these webinars. So thank you again to everybody for participating, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.